Okay. So, yep, class. So, like I was discussing, so let's start with this topic over here. Okay. So, I hope you can all see my screen and my voice is clear to all of you. Perfect. See, what I'll do is I'll just make two small data sets over here, and this is something that you all also have to make. I have ID and I have name. Okay, ID 1, 2, 3, and the name is A, B, and C. Okay, in the another table, and see, this is one data set. Okay, this is one data frame that I'm talking about. In the another data frame, I have the ID, and I have, say, suppose the age. Okay, and over here, let us keep it as 1, 2, 3, and 5. The name is T, and ID is 1, 2, 3, and 4. The age is 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, these are the different age that I have. Now these are two different data frames that I have. Okay, what I want to do is I want to combine these two data sets together over here. Okay, what I want to do is what I want to do is I just want to combine these two data sets together in this. Okay, so when I say together, right, what do I mean by that is I am saying I want to see the ID, the name, and the age, all the three things together in one single data set. Okay, this is what I want to achieve. I should be able to see the IDs like 1, 2, and 3, what their corresponding names are, and what their age is. Okay, the age is like 21, 22, 23. I want to see all this information in one single data set. But by default, when I received this information, the data was coming in two different data sets. Okay, is the scenario clear to all of you? Are you all clear on the data set? Okay, great. Now, what I want to do is I want to combine these two data sets together over here. So in the data set one, I have ID and name. In the second data set, I have the ID and the age. Now, when you have to combine these two data sets together, so there are some ways of doing it. And that is something that is called as joins. Okay, now joins are of two types. One is called as inner join, and another type of a join is called as outer join. Okay, so first of all, I will discuss the inner join. Okay, inner join means when you are trying to take a look at the data, and inner join is something that gives you the common data between the two tables, right? This is the table 1, this is table A. Okay, and this is the table 2, that is, I can call it as table B. Okay, so what will happen is if I combine these two data sets, this is how the output should come. So only the data that is common between the two, I will get only that in the output, right? So first of all, what is the connecting point between these two data sets? What is the connecting point between these two data sets that I have? What is it? ID, right? So ID is something that is connecting these two data sets together. So if I make an inner join, so what does that mean is I will get I will get this as an output. Okay, this is what I will get as an output.
Amit, your voice is breaking.
Okay, so is it with everyone, like if my voice is breaking? I mean, can you all hear me loud and clear?
In between, it is breaking.
Because I'm getting
Clear.
okay. So now what I'll be doing over here is that if you see, I have the ID, name, and the age. Okay. So when I say ID which are common, right? So which are the IDs that are common? The IDs that are common between the two data sets are they are the 1, 2, and 3, right? 1 and 2 and 3 is present over here also, and 1, 2, and 3 is present over here also. Okay. So as a result, what will happen is I will get in the output only the 1, 2, and 3 into the final output. Okay, I will not get ID 5 because ID 5 is present in table 1 but it is not present in table 2, and I will also not get ID 4 because ID 4 is present in table 2 but not in table 1. That is what my output will be when I create an inner join between them. Okay, Clear to all? What will be the output if I make an inner join? Okay, perfect. Now the type of outer join that I have is outer join is something that is again bifurcated into, I will say there are two parts. Okay, one is left outer join. Okay, and another is called as right outer join. You call them left outer join or you call them, left join, that is the same thing. I can call it as a left join also. That will also mean the same. I can call it as left join or right join also. Both have the same meaning. Okay, everything is same. What will happen? So now if you see on your screen, so this is data set 1, this is data set 2. Okay, this data set is on your left hand side and this data set is on your right hand side. So that means this is a left table and this is a right table. Am I right in saying that? Okay, this is the left table and this is the right table. Perfect. Now left join means you will get all the data from the left table, right? You will get all the data from the left table. That is, you will get ID and name, all of these, and age. I know the age of 1, that is 21. He is 22. C is 23. But 5, I don't know his age, right? I don't know what is the age of 5 because it is not present over here. So 5 will become NA, not available. This information is not available with us. Okay, this is something that is called as a left outer join or a left join. Clear to all? Okay. Can you all tell me what will be the output of right join in this case now? So what will be the output of right join? So that means I'll get all the data from the right table, right? And matching data from the left table. Perfect, right? So this is how the output will look like. So name, 1 is A, this is B, this is C, and 4, I don't know, it will become NA. Okay, so this is how the right join will look like. Okay, so Rishabh, you have a question over here. You mean all the left data set will be in new data set, in right data set only different? So this is a new data set that we are making, Rishabh. So this is a completely a new data set that we will create. So in that new data set that we will create after merging these two tables, this is how the output will look like. Okay. So Narendra, I'll come to that point. First of all, let's try to understand these joins, like how how we work with the two tables. Okay. So Naveen, left join means all the data from the left table, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get all the data from the left table and matching data from the right, right? What is the matching data? I know the age of 1, I know the age of 2, I know the age of 3. So I'm getting age 1 is 21, he is 22, C is 23. And D, I do not know, right? Because 5 age is not available. So I can't tell what is the age of 5. Can I tell it by looking at the data set? If I ask you, Naveen, that what is the age of 5? You will say, Amit, that information is not available. I know only the name of 5. So that is why I'm only getting the name. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And same thing happens with the right join, right? We get all the data from the right table and the matching data from the left table. Now ABC is present in both, but 4 ID 4 was not present over here. So I don't know his name, but I know the age of 4. That is what right join is. Now, similarly, we have one more type of a join, and that is called as your semi-join. Okay, there is something that is called as semi-join. Now, semi-join is something which is equivalent to inner join only. Okay, it is equivalent to inner join only. But the difference is this: semi means that in this data set, if you will see that that in the semi-join, what you get is you get the data that is common. Okay, you will get the data that is common, that is 1, 2 and 3. Okay, you will get the ID 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and name, you will get A, B and C. it will not give you the column of age. It will not give you the column of age. Semi-join means it gives you only that data that is common between the two, but only from the table 1. It gives you all the information of table 1 only. Making sense? If I use this as table 1, if I say this is my table 1 and this is my table 2, so in this case I will get this information. Okay, if I say this is my table 1, so I'll get this information. So depending which table you want to keep it as first table, you can derive the information from there. And this will become more clear when you will see this happening in the R when we see it practically. Is it clear to all of you? And Swati, the reason we have not got the 4 over here in the left join is because left join means all the data from left table and matching data from the right table. So 4 is not present over here. So that is why I am not getting 4. 4 is coming in the right table because I am getting a right join over there, right? Right join means all the data from the right table, 1, 2, 3, 4, and matching data from the left table. Okay, similar to this, what we have is we have last type of a join that is called as anti-join. Okay, that is called as anti-join. What is anti-join? It is, as the name tells, anti means something that is present in table 1 but not in table 2, right? If this is my table 1 and this is my table 2, so what is the information that is present in table 1 but not in table 2? What's that information? All of you quickly give me the answer. Perfect, right? So 5, right? So 5 and D. So I will get it in the output over here as I will get ID and the name, and the output will be 5. And the name will be D. If I keep this as table 1 and this as table 2, so in that case I will get 4 and 24. Am I right? Okay, if I keep this as table 1, so I will get 4 and 24 because 4 and 24 is present only in this table but not in this. Okay, right. So now so Sahil, like when I was talking about the semi join is something which gives you see, anti-join is giving you the data that is present in table 1 but not in table 2. Semi join is it gives you the information that is common between the two tables, but it will only give you the information from that table 1. Okay, if I am saying table 1 is this and table 2 is this, between these two tables, this is the information that is common between the two. Only the columns of first table, because if you will get the column of second table also, if you get the age also, that becomes an inner join, right? That becomes an inner join itself. So that is how that semi join is different from that inner join. Okay. So now, keeping all these concepts into the mind, what I would like to do, all of you to do is create 2 data frames. Okay, all of you create 2 data frames. Call the first data frame as table A and call this as table B. Quickly create 2 data frames. What you all have to do is you have to create 2 tables, table A and table B. This is what we have to achieve. So let us see who have the troubles in creating a data frames. That will also come up now over here. So how do we create a data frame? First of all, I'll create the vectors ID. ID is 1, 2, 3, 5, right? First I'm creating the first table. Then I need the names. I need a name in that. Name is what? A, B, C, and D. Table A is what? Data.frame ID. So Raghavendra, this is something that could be a little new for you because you didn't attend in the first session. So you might find it, little new and you might not be able to create it. I'll share the code so that you can do it. Okay. And anyone else who is new to the session, so they can make use of this code. So my table is ready, right? So can I see my table A? This is ready now. Let us take a look of that as well. Table A. This is the information: ID, name, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. Perfect. Now I have to create another table. I'll have to create ID, which will be 4 in this case, and name, oh sorry, not the name, I have to keep the age. Age, we kept it as 21, 22, 23, 24. Right, so table B. Yes, so you have to create table B in which you have ID and the age. And I'll call it as table B, and the information will be data.frame. I want to keep ID and age in that. Got it? So let us see the output, how it looks like. Here we have it, right? ID and the age. Same thing that I shown you in the Excel. Now you can see it in your the R as well.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. Like, you didn't create table B and you got the output for table B. So,
No, I've created
how
it.
can it be, sir?
I have created, if you see, I've written the code ID and age, and then I'm creating the table B, data.frame ID and age.
So it's for table A, right? The top one.
Table A was ID and name that I created over here. ID and name. So I created table A. In the second table, so see, go back to the Excel. What do I have? In table A, I have ID and name. In table B, I have ID and age, right? So now if you see over here, first I created the table A, where I created the column of ID and name. Then I created table B, where I kept ID and age. So that is how I'm able to create a table B. So I've executed this code. Right? Confusion, Akash, any?
Fine, sir. Fine, sir. I got it. No, I was like, it's is like, can I rename it as table B above the ID 1, 2, 3, 4 which you are given, or should I keep it
No, no. So if you will,
as table A on right on the top you have ID and name, you named it as table A. On the bottom you have ID and age. So if you make it as table B, then so that was my doubt. So that's the reason I asked you. Yeah. Yes, and now it's okay. Fine, sir. I got it. Yeah.
okay, okay. Omar, 2 of table A, sorry, I'm not able to get your point.
Sorry, I get confused about the first ID and then you named it table A. So I thought you created two of table A. So my confusion, I got it now.
Oh, okay, perfect. So Rishabh, you're saying, Amit, your ID name is different because in table A is ID and table B is ID. No, ID name is same, right? I've kept it as same, ID and ID in both the tables. It's in capital if you see, ID over here and ID over here. So in both the tables, it is the same. You see, ID and name and ID and age. Anyone, any confusion over it? Feel free to ask, right? Please don't go home with the questions or doubts, right? If anything was not clear, please ask it right over here.
How can I?
So Diksha, let me see your problem. We have read ID, table A, data.frame. What is the error that you are getting? Okay, so Diksha, you're saying you're not getting the output. See, for getting the output, you have to run this command, right? Table A, right? Table A and execute it. Then you will be able to see over here what is happening is that variable is getting created. It will not show you the output. Okay, when you've written this command, over here the table is created. In order to see it, I have written it separately so that I can see its output over here. Just run this command, you will be able to see the output in the console window. So Sahil, we haven't kept the same variables, right? In the table 1, I have the name and the ID, and in the second table, I have the ID and the age, right? So Akash, the cross mark is coming because somewhere at the top, you would have written one command that is wrong. So keep on scrolling up where you see the first cross. In that line, there would be some sort of an error that would have been happening. Might be, you haven't closed the quotes, or you haven't written the correct command over there. So that is why it is continuing till the time you will not correct it. Okay, like if you see over here, if I write it wrong, so it will take a little time. Maybe, it will just come up. Well, this basically, let me just execute some command and let's see if I get it again. So basically, that is what the problem that happens. But the problem is that, because sometimes it shows it, sometimes it doesn't. So Nandini, you have NT join means it will display the record from table 1 for the unmatched record. Yes, yes. So NT join means the data that is present in table 1 but not in table 2. That is what NT join means. Okay, so if you see this output over here, so you will see over here in the NT join, this was the table 1 and this was the table 2. So 5 and D is present only in table 1 but not in table 2. Yeah, so column the column from the table 2 will not come. It will not come in the output. Okay. Do you all have the dataset ready now?
Regarding the ID
Yes.
variable, it's just like when we first created the variable, we defined it with 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Okay.
And in table E, we created a same variable and named it as 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
So doesn't that mean the data for that 5 will be deleted then?
No, it will not
Because
no, see, what is happening is, see, understand the logic. First of all, what I did was I created this variable ID. Perfect. Then I create a variable name. Okay. Yeah, Sahil, can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay, so in that ID, when I created this variable, over here, I mentioned the ID to be as 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay. And
Yeah.
then right away, I used that ID also into this table. So my table is ready with the ID 1, 2, 3, and 5. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
So the data gets in the table itself.
yeah, since it is already into the table, so even if I delete the ID now, even if I delete all these variables, right? If I delete ID, age, and name, so still my tables will be
Okay.
there, right? Because the tables were created, before the variables were deleted. I had already used them up.
Okay. Understood. Thanks.
Okay, so Ashutosh, I think others can hear me. I mean, please check your network if you are facing a lot of challenge. Okay. Now the two tables are ready with all of us. Now what we will do is we will see the concept of joins. First of all, we will see inner join. What I'll do is I'll create a table by the name inner so that we can all relate to it, that what type of a data we should be getting over there. So what I'm doing is I am creating a third table. Okay, I'll be creating a third table in which I would like to see ID, name, and age together. Okay, I would like to see ID, name, and age to be coming together in one single table. That is what my requirement is. Okay, so how will I get it? So I have created a new variable and I'm calling it as inner only. What is the function I will use? I will use the function inner join. Okay, inner join. This is the function that I'll have to use. In the inner join, it's very simple to use. You simply have to give the name of the table 1, that is table A, and this is the table 2, that is table B. Okay, this is my table 1 and this is my table 2. And if I write interchangeably, this will table B. If I write table B over here and I write table A over here, it will become, this is my table 1 and this is my table 2. Making sense to all of you? What I'm doing over here? Okay. And I'll keep it as table A only. I'll add it as table A and this is table B. Now, which one is the left table and which one is the right table? All of you, please shout out. Right table, left table, which is A is left, right, and B is right. And if I write it like this, B and A, which one is left and which one is right? Now, which one is left? Right. B is left and A is right. Perfect. Now you have got this logic now, right? So I'll keep it the same way because this was very important to understand. So all the joins over here. Now you have to just mention by ID. You have to give the name of that column that is common between the two, because see, automatically R will not understand which is the common column. So you will say the common column between these two data sets on which the join has to be created, that is ID. Okay, so let us execute this command. Oops. Over here. Oh, sorry. This ID has to come in this. Okay, by ID. Okay, so I have passed this by equals to ID, that is the common column between the two. And now please do not ask, this is like a part of a syntax, that it is the column name, why we are putting it into the double quote. So this is like a syntax that we all have to keep it into our minds. Okay, now let us see the output, how the output looks like for the inner variable. I get ID, name and age, 1, 2, 3, ABC, 21, 22, 23. The same output that I created in the Excel. Got it? So join has already happened, Nandini. If you see, join has already happened, right? ID, name and age. So the two tables are joined.
No, Amit, I'm not asking that. So what in case if the column name in both the table is different? For example, in table A, the column name is ID1, and in table B, the column name is ID2. Then how we will join? I like
So in that case, you
that
will
by
write.
condition.
Yeah, got the question. So in that case, you will say by equals to C ID1 comma ID2. So I'll be coming to this point, okay, because I'll be explaining this again. So this is how you will do it. Okay, class. So we shall check out. So still got the same result. What is the result that you are getting? 1, 2, 3, ABC, 21. Are you getting the same result or something different? Yeah, so this is what the output is, right? So inner join means common data between the two tables, right? So Prerna, you are saying could not. So inner underscore join. Please make sure you are using the function inner underscore join. Okay. Now what I'll do is. एकदम बढ़िया बताओ. Sorry, class. Yeah. Okay. So now, if you will see, what I'll do now is I will be using the left join, right? So let's create a new table left. I hope all of you should be able to do it, right? Left underscore join. Okay. And table A, comma table B. As simple as that, right? So table B by ID. Okay, you specify the common column name So what is the output should I expect, right? All the data from the table A and the matching data from the table B. So this is the left that I have created, and let us see how the output looks like. So I have 1, 2, 3 and 5, and the age for 5 is coming NA. Correct? Prerna, can you, I hope you have not restarted your R. Can you please confirm, have you restarted your R, closed it and opened it again? Because if you're getting that error, just check this out. Click on the packages. Okay, click on the packages. Type over here dplyr. Do you see the dplyr package installed? Check that out. This is checked. It is just not able to find the function because the package would not be into the library. Okay, shall I move ahead? Just change the tables now, right? In the left only, now make this as table 1 and make this as table 2. Now check out the output 1, 2, 3, 4 and name for 4 is not available, that becomes NA. Okay.
In both the cases, the NA is coming differently. So, is there any reason for that?
NA is coming differently as in?
For example, when we had table 1 as table A and we did the left join function, applied it, so it was showing it as NA. But after we change the tables, we can see that it is like less than NA and then greater than.
Yeah, that is because
Like
that
that.
character and numeric data. The name is character data, so it shows that into the arrows, and when it is a number, it shows simple NA.
Okay.
Amit, we kind of know the concept for the inner join and the left join, right, and the normal join. So, what could be one of the factor which should enable us to use them appropriately, like depending upon the scenario?
That I'll be just coming. So I'll be,
Okay.
I'll be asking you all the questions where your, knowledge will be tested on that. So first, because all the people are really new, so I'm just trying to make them aware with what joins are. Okay, so see, if you technically see, right now, if you see, can I say that left and right joins are kind of same only? Can I see it? All of you, can I say that left and right join are just complementary to each other? It just depends upon which table do I keep first. I'll get the output according to that. Am I right in saying that? Right, because now if I use the right join, I make another variable right, and over there I use the right join. Okay, I put table A and table B over here. Okay, by ID. So what will be the output? Will the output be different from this, or will it be the same? Yes, class? Same, right? Because now I am using a right join, so that means this is the right table and this is the left table. So I get all the data from this table and matching data from this table. So if you will technically see now, let us see this output right over here. You will see I get the same output, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here also I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4. And over here also I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just that the columns are interchanged. That's it. Nothing more than that. Age and name, name and age. That is the only thing that is changing. But otherwise, the output is exactly the same. Nothing has changed from the output perspective. Correct? Anyone? Any confusion? Okay, so with this, let us move ahead and let us see the NT join. NT join. Okay, I will create a table by the name NT and use NT join. What does NT join gives? What does anti-join gives? So, I would like to ask, I'll pick up randomly someone from here and I want that person to answer. So let's ask Swaroop. Okay, Swaroop, what will be the output that I'll get if I use the anti-join?
It's 5D.
5D, right? So that depends which table I write first, right? So that should be the first thing that we have to take care.
Yes.
If I say table A and table B, so in that case, definitely your answer is 100% correct. So I say by equals to ID. So I will get, let's see the output, and that is ID and name 5D. What you mentioned. If I interchange it, I make it B and this as A. That would mean I will get the output that will be 4 and 23 or 24.
24.
Correct. So I get ID and age 4 and 24. I hope all of you are now clear on this. Correct, Vishal? So you have shared the output. Okay. Let us move to the last join. That will be the semi join. Okay, semi. I'll create a variable by the name semi and I'll use semi join over here. So I'll same thing, right? What does the semi join gives us? It gives us the matching data, but from the table 1. If I say table A, table B, Y equals to ID. Okay. Let us run it and let us see the output, how it looks like. So I get matching data from table 1. If I interchange it, I'll get the output of table B. Whatever is a table 1, you get the output from there. Raghvendra, you will be getting the books, right? So I think books you will have to use in order to refer to the content. Okay. And apart from this, what I'll do is I will upload this code also and the Excel also. I will upload it onto that Google Drive and I'll share the link again with all of you who do not have it so that you can all access the things from there. Okay, so anyone, any questions, any doubts up till here? Please let me know. Okay, so I hope it is clear, right? It is not all clear because now I will be testing your skills as well over here. So this is where we kind of take the things onto the dplyr package. Now I would like to give you a question. Okay, so let us see who can do this. So the question is, see, please pay good attention to it. I want a sample of 15 rows, okay, from the data set iris. Okay, please, I'll explain the question to all of you. I want a sample of 15 rows from the dataset iris where I want the columns. So I'll specify the columns as well, right? So I hope all of you are aware with that iris dataset. It is an inbuilt dataset that you get. This is what the dataset is: five columns: sepal length, sepal width, petal width, and species. Right? This is something that we used in the last class as well. So I want to use this dataset iris. I want a sample of 15 rows where I want to see only the column. I want to see only the columns species, sepal length, and sepal width. Okay, I want to see only these 3 columns: species, sepal length, sepal width. Okay, these are the columns I want to see in the output where the data must be sorted by sepal length, okay, just this much. So This is what I want. I wanted to add one more condition, but I'll not do it for now. So I want all of you to do this. I want a sample of 15 rows. I want to see only the columns species, sepal length and sepal width in the output, and the output that I get must be sorted by sepal length. Is it clear? If anyone has any doubt on the question, you can ask me. So the question is the sample that you pick up, right? It should pick up the sample 15 rows from that complete dataset iris. And that sample that it picks, in that sample, I should have only 3 columns. And that sample should also be sorted by sepal length. So Rishabh, you have shared a sample and did you check your command in order whether it is working fine or not? Please check it, because you have to see everything is black and white over here, right? Anything that the questions that I'm giving you, you have to execute the command and you have to see the result and check whether it is coming as per the required question or not, right? That is how you will be able to check your answers also. So please, before sharing the answers, I will request all of you to execute the commands and validate that is the output that I am getting, is it as per what the question has been asked? So Raghu, you have shared okay, right? So your is perfect. But okay, you then made a B, then you made this. Okay, so it is right. So, but you have done it again in the multiple steps. I will advise or request you to try it around in the one single function. So Jyoti, you have just shared a command for sample command, right? It will just give me sample 50 rows, but rest of the things will not come in, right? I want all of you to give me a small data set in which I should have 15 rows of the data, and those 15 rows should be sorted by sepal length, and I should have only 3 columns in it. So Raghavendra, your command is correct, but it will still not give me select. Right. So your is right. Okay, so let us see this all. Let us try it around. So what do I want? So this is the iris data set. Okay. So in this iris data set, I have 150 rows of data in it, right? My requirement is I have to pick 15 sample rows from here. So 15 rows, and then I just want to keep only these three columns, species, sepal length and sepal width, and the data should also be sorted by sepal length. That is what my requirement is. So let us do it step by step. Okay, we will do this question step by step over here. Is it better now? Okay, so what I'll do over here is I pick up a sample. This is the command for picking up the sample. Sample length from the iris dataset. What I want to do is I want to pick 15 rows. Okay, let us check it out. Does it gives me 15 rows? Perfect. I am getting the 15 rows in this output. This is what I want to get. My first condition. So I get the 15 rows. So every time I will run this command, this will give me different 50 rows, but that is not a problem for me because we are working on this dummy data set. Now this data that I am getting, what I want is from this data, I only want to keep three columns. How will I do it? I will use select command for that. I will say select from the sample rows that I am getting. I only want to keep the column of species. I want to keep the column of sepal length, sepal dot length, and I want to keep the column that is sepal dot width. Okay, these are the three columns that I want to keep. Let us check it over here. Is it giving us the correct output? Perfect. So I get 15 rows and 3 of the columns. This output that I have got now, what I want to achieve in this is the three columns, they must be sorted on the basis of sepal length. If you see right now, my data is not sorted. Right, I'm getting 5.6, 4.8, 6.4. So randomly they are coming, right? So up and higher and smaller, they are not sorted over here. So I will have to wrap it around in the arrange. So I will say arrange. This complete is my data set, which is giving me 15 rows and 3 columns. I want this data to be sorted by the sepal length, right? That is what I want. So sepal dot length, that's it. So now if I see the output, my data should come in this sorted order of sepal length. Right, you see 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 5.1, it is in the increasing order now. So this satisfies my all the three conditions that I have. Okay, clear to everyone? Okay, now the task that comes up over here is something I'll make it easier for everyone. If you see now, this is little complex to understand, right? If I share this code with you, you will have to spend 2 minutes to decode it, right? You will have to spend 2 minutes that, okay, first from the inside, the sample has been taken, from there, the select command has been taken, and then the arrange has been taken. I could have added more conditions to it as well, and it would have become a little more tiring and kind of, problematic for you in that case, right? To decode it. And in fact, for writing also, you have to apply a lot of mind and make sure that the syntax is going correct. Now, in order to simplify this, in the dplyr, we have a function that is called as pipe operator. Okay, we have a function that is called as pipe operator. So this is the name of it, right? Pipe operator. We call it as pipe operator. What is the use of a pipe, right? What is pipe? Pipe is something that is a connecting, right? It is like a connecting line that I have. That is, I call it as a pipe. Now the advantage of this pipe operator is I can very easily write the same thing which will be very easy to decode and understand. How is it? Please, all of you can write the code later on and you can just pay attention for a minute. First of all, what do I need? I need my dataset, that is iris. So I mentioned that use this dataset iris, put the pipe operator. From this iris dataset, what do I want to do? I want to pick up a sample of 15 rows. So I will say sample underscore n. I don't need to pass the dataset name. I will just pass my condition that I want 15 rows. Okay, now this function will automatically understand that from this dataset it has to pick 15 rows. After the 15 rows are picked, I am saying select the 3 columns. Which columns do I want? I want the column of species. I want the column of sepal.length. I want the column of sepal.width. So I specified all the 3 columns over here. Then after the selection was done, what was my next step? I said that I want to have the column to be sorted by, the data to be sorted by my function, that is sepal length. Okay, so I just mentioned that name on which I want the column to be sorted. That is it. So if you see now, don't you think it is much more easier to decode and understand? I am mentioning all the steps one by one. Pick up this data set, pick up the 15 rows of sample, select the 3 columns, sort them by this particular column over here. And if you want to pass the view command, you can do that also. If you will say percent this and you write view and just open and close the bracket. If you will say view, this will give you the output in the tabular format. Oops, something went wrong. Species I have written wrong. Okay, so spellings were incorrect. That's it. So I can see the output coming over here. Data sorted on the basis of sepal length. Everything is same, but in a much simplified way over here. Okay. Yes, so all of you, Rishabh, Sahil, Swati. Okay, so this is what we have on this. Now let me do one thing. Let me test your skills further. Okay, so just give me a moment. Let me open up a small file. Okay, can you all see an Excel file opened up on my system? Can you all see it? Okay. Now this is a big set of data, right? Now, you all have understood the joins, right? But no one asked me a question like, what is the practical usage of this, right? You didn't, no one like, the people who are new, that where will I use it and how will I use it? What will be the use case of these joins that we are doing? Okay. So now I have this Excel file. In this Excel file, I have 2 sheets. One is orders and one is returns. So let me first of all give you a little understanding on the data, right? Because all of you are going into the industry of data science. Till the time we do not understand the data, we cannot do any data manipulation. We cannot do any, data analysis as well, right? So now, sure, yeah. So let me just share this command with all of you on the chat as well. So if in case you're having any doubts, you can just try this out. Okay. So now if you will see in this Excel, what I want to do over here is like, if you see that this is the data of a superstore, as the name tells, right? Like when you go to any of the grocery stores or when you order something from Amazon, right? When you order something from Amazon, what happens right away? There is an order ID that is generated, right? You can all see that on what date you ordered that, you place that order, on what date that order was shipped, through which shipping mode will it be coming to you, who was the customer, so customer ID, customer name, to which segment the customer belongs, from which country, state and city the order was placed. So all that information is stored on the system of that Amazon. Okay. They also keep that information, like if suppose what product did you order, right? Say suppose I in a particular order, let me take up this. If you take a look at this order, okay, you will notice this order ID is same. In both the cases, the order ID is same. The reason I'm getting two rows over here is because the customer, as a customer ordered two products. He ordered two products. One was a bookcase, as I can see over here. This is a product name. And the second product that was ordered was something like a chair, right? Stacking chairs rounded back. So the two products were ordered. And I can see that to which category and subcategory that order belongs, how much was the sales amount, how much quantity did he purchase, was there any discount, and what was the profit that super.
We are currently improving an issue with your audio connection. Please stand by.
Hello, class, can you all hear me? Okay, class, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so there was small, I think some network lag that happened. So now if you all see now over here, so this is the data set that I have. Okay, so in this we have the states, profits, and everything into this. Now, in the second, so first tab, is it clear to all? What do I have in the first tab as an information? Okay. In the second tab, if I'll come up, in the second tab, I just have the information of the orders that were returned. Okay, I just have that information, the orders that were returned. Okay, this is what I have in the second tab. Okay, hello, yeah, so can you all hear me now? I have just changed my network over here. Is my now voice loud and clear? Okay, great. So now what I'll just explain you the data set again. Okay. So in the data set, in the orders, what I had was I had the information that what are the orders that are placed, right? Like I have the order ID, I have the order date, ship date, when that order was placed, right? Who was the customer who purchased that order, from which region that order was sold, and what were the products that were purchased by the customer, right? So you have the product names as well, and you have the sales amount and the quantity, right? This is the information that we have in this table 1 and this. If I come to the table 2, I have the information that is there were certain orders, right? Many times it happens that you place something from that Amazon and later you don't like the product or there was some defect with it, you return it back, right? So we have that order IDs listed down, like which were the order IDs that were returned by the customer. So I can see these orders were returned by the customer. Clear? Okay. So now these are two data sets that I have. Are you all clear on the data set? Hello? Okay. So now if I ask you all a quick question over here, that these two data sets that I have. Okay. Hello. Actually, I'm having some serious, network troubles today. I don't know why. Uh, is my voice? And I'm really sorry about today. I think this network problem is, that is. Okay. So, what I'm doing now is I'm just, explain the data set one more time. So these two data sets that I had, right, order. So like just pay attention to these columns that I have. Okay, these are the headers, right? So just if you see, this is a generic data set about a superstore, right? Like when you place an order on the Amazon, so there is an order ID that gets generated. On what date did you place that order? On what date that order was shipped, right? The customer name, what was the name of the customer, from which country, state, and city that order was placed, right? That is the information that you get. And plus, you have the information related to which product did he order, right? Like he ordered two products, bookcase and some chairs. What was the sales amount and what was the quantity he ordered? And was there any discount and profit that was given to him? So I can see all that information over here. Okay. And then I have a returns tab. In the returns tab, I have those order IDs which were actually returned by the customer. So there were certain orders that the customer didn't like. So they probably returned that order ID back to the Amazon. Is it now clear? Is the data set now clear to all of you? I hope the voice was also loud and clear to everyone. Okay, perfect. Now, my first question. Okay, my first question to you, if you will try to see this, you all can download this data set from that Google Drive as well, right? I have placed this data on the Google Drive as well. If you will go to the drive over there, you will find this data set placed. Let me share the link to the people who do not have it. Okay. So I'm just putting it up on the chat over here. Yep. So I just placed it. So you will find a folder of our data sets. Okay. So from there down, you can download this sample superstore data set. You can download the data set from there, sample superstore. Okay. If you will see, it is under the folder of our data sets that I have created. And in that, you will find this Excel file placed there. You can quickly download that up. All of you, have you downloaded the file? Okay, so now what I'll show you over here is how we can all load the data from an Excel file, right? We all have seen how to copy the data from a CSV. That is something that we all are aware with. Now, in order to copy the data, in order to load the data from an Excel file, we all need a package, a special package to actually read the files from the Excel. And the name of that package is, so just write install.packages. You will all have to install one package, and the name of the package is read Excel. Okay, so you will find that read Excel. This is the name of the package that you all have to install. So please all install this package quickly. Can't download it. You should be. I mean, others, are you all able to download the dataset? Like Diksha has done it, Nantini has done it. So please try it again. You know, may probably some network issues that you might have. All the people are able to do it. Package installed. All of you, please give me a heads up for the package. Okay, Diksha has done it.
Yes.
Great. Now, once the package is installed, what I'll do is I will simply put it into a library, right? This is your the next step after the installation, right? Read Excel. You put it into the library. Perfect. So I have got it over here. Now, you know, when you install this package, all the functions of this package will be now available. So let me give you a quick functions over here that are really handy to use. What I will do is, first of all, I will make my folder of Ematicus as my working directory, right? I hope all of you are now well versed with that. Why do we make certain folder as a working directory, right? Where that file has been placed, I will make that folder as my working directory. So that is already my working directory. And the people who are new, I'll just repeat the steps for them. So please, all of you, make one folder by the name Ematicus or your learnings, whatever name you want to give it. Place all the material over there. Okay, just to be consistent, keep everything in that folder. Click on the three dots, select that folder where that files are placed, go to that folder and click on open, right? Just go to that folder, like I've gone to the Ematicus folder and I click on open. Once that folder is opened, you will be able to see those files over there, and click on more and say set as working directory. You have to click on more and say set as working directory. So you will be able to establish that particular folder as your working directory. Okay, so you have functions which I'll quickly show you. One is sheets. Picking it up. The name of the file is, I think I've not placed that sample superstore file over here. Yeah, so I have it, right? So if you run this function, so the function is Excel sheets, right? Excel, not sheets, Excel sheets. Sample superstore. See, it will give me the name of the sheets. I have three sheets: orders, returns, and people. These are the three sheets that I have in that Excel file. And we also all saw that, right? So we all saw that as well. So Diksha, might be you are putting some incorrect name. Just check that out. Read Excel, you have to write. You should be able to see it. If you are able to put it into the library, then it will be visible over there. I hope you didn't got any error over here. Please check that out. That you didn't got any error while installation and putting it into the library. Oh yes, so writing the file path is the extension is necessary. So Rishabh, on how to check the path, which path are you referring to? I mean, you want to see the path of the working directory, like which working directory you are in right now? Is that what you are referring to? So for that, you have to just write the command get wd. If you write this command, you will be able to see that. So in my case, my working directory is this. So Raghavendra, to set this as a working directory, just click on the three dots. Okay, you will be able to see from here, come to the files, click on the files, click on the three dots, select the folder where you have kept that file, go to that folder, click on open, right? Go to that folder, click on open. Please do that. Once that is done, you have to click on more, set as working directory. Okay, are you able to do it? So Disha, I'll just take a look at your screen. Just give me a moment, right? I'll just take a look what the problem is. Okay. Now what I want to do is, first of all, I'll create a variable. I'll create a variable by the name orders. In this, what I want to do is I want to load the data, right? So I'll have to create two variables. Okay. In one variable, I will load the data of orders. In another variable, I'll load the data of returns. This is what I want to achieve. So how will I do it? First of all, I create my variable orders and I will use a function that is read Excel. Okay. So you will get this read underscore Excel. Okay, you will find this function read Excel, right? Give the name of the file, that is sample superstore, then comma, give the name of the sheet that you want to install, that is orders. That is it. First you give the name of that file, which file you want to read, and then you give the name of that sheet that you want to copy and save into a variable. That's it. You have to give the name of that variable or the file and then the name of that sheet, and just execute the command. Okay. So sorry, there was a power failure that just happened. Okay, so can you all see this orders tab now? The data of the orders. Is it created for all of you? Orders. Okay. Similarly, create another data set as well. That is returns. Okay, that is returns. Just create a function for that as well. That is read Excel, same thing. Everything will be the same. Okay, give the name of that file, that is sample superstore. Okay, comma, the name of the sheet now is returns. This is what the name of that sheet is. Let us load the data of returns as well. Okay, so Sakshi, you have to make sure, have you clicked on this as well, more and set as working directory? Have you clicked on that as well? So please check you have that file placed over there in that folder. So it's just the problem of that file. It's saying path doesn't exist. That means the file is not available over there. Okay. So let me quickly see your screen. So I'll just give me a moment. So in the meantime, all the people who have loaded the data, okay, the questions for you. Give me the unique categories, okay, total sales, give me total profit, and give me what do I want is give me yeah, just give me these three things for now. Okay, just do these three things. In the meantime, I'll just resolve the problems. So Sakshi, I'll just make you the presenter so that I can take a look at it, and then I'll make sure you also as the presenter. Okay. Yeah. So you can share your screen now. No, three different commands, right? So you will have three different commands for that. So with one command, you have to give me the distinct the categories. Then I want to see the distinct, the total profit, and then the total sales. So Sakshi, you can share your screen now, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hi Amit, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. Okay, so I can see your file now. Okay, so this is sample Excel underscore sheets. So this is sample. See, the problem that has happened in your case is you have missed out the name of that sheet that you have to use, right? You have just given the file name. Okay, put up a comma after
Okay.
that, right? So put a comma inside the bracket. First of all, you have to load the data from orders tab, right? So double quotes, put orders, write orders in the double quotes, S as well, and you have to save this into a variable. So come on the extreme left and yeah, define, save it into a variable by the name orders itself. Okay, now run this. Oh, O would be in the small, I guess. That would be the challenge. Just check that out. No, O is in capital. Only what I see is supposed Superstore unused. Can you open this file, the sample Superstore that you have downloaded? Can you just open it once? Might be, it would be small over there. That could be the problem. Just open this file once.
But I don't think it's actually about O.
Vishal, it's an open link. I mean, anyone can download the files. As such, there is no restriction on that.
Yeah, it's a capital O.
Yeah, so there's orders only there. Right, so can you go back to the R? I hope you didn't add that anything extra over there, right? Sample Superstore or something like that. Can you just, 1 second, just remove this sample Superstore or XLS what you have written over here. Just can you remove that once? In the codes. Yeah, just remove that entire line. Just, yeah, till here. Oops. So let's start the double quotes.
Start with a double quote.
I mean, you have to write the command again. Press Control Z. Press Control Z. Okay, right. Now over here, start the double quotes. Right now, type capital S and A. Yeah, press tab. No, don't do it like that. Don't write. No, what you are right, typing it. Don't type it. Just press tab. Press tab. Press tab key. I think you have just added that spaces over there. That is the problem that is happening. Just press tab. Right, SAMP. Right. Now press tab. Tab key. Right. So now with this, close the brackets.
Yeah, got it.
No, orders also you have to write. Orders also you have to write over there.
But then, yeah, okay.
The name of the sheet that you want to pick. Okay, now run it. Still giving the same error. Can you click on the packages once? Click on the packages. Type read Excel over there. I just want to check it out. It is finally coming. Go there. Okay, I see this. See, Excel sheets unused. Click on the files. Click on the files. Click on more and set as working directory. This you did, right?
Yeah.
Now run this command again. And O is capital. O is capital over there. In the orders, the O is capital.
Yeah, it is capital. Yeah, it is capital.
It looks to me small, I think is.
No, it's capital.
Jyoti, the sheet name is orders, not order. So just check that.
I think you changed the name of the file, so I think it's working.
That is, I think I was about to say. Just change the name, file name once.
As in,
First,
sorry, I didn't get you.
last one you can erase in
This one,
brackets.
but that's in the file. Like it took
No,
it.
no, close.
It took the name by default
No, close the Excel file. Close the Excel file. Close the Excel file once.
and changed the name here.
No, close the file. Close. Yeah, just change it. Just remove that one from there. Remove that. Just keep it simple. Superstore. Yeah. Okay. Now go back over there. Okay, now just bring that file again. No, you will have to remove that one from here. Na? So just file name. Yeah. So you can just press tab. So it start giving you the name. Okay. Close the brackets. Now write that orders again. No, I think
Is
it
the
could be.
extension correct? I mean, it's showing it, so yes, but is it correct?
You can go back to that
Validation.
file. Go to that file. Go to the folder and right click on that and check under the properties what that extension you're getting over there.
Okay. Yeah, it's excellent.
Everything is fine, don't strange. I just check this out, like why you are getting this error. Technically, I mean everything is correct. Excel underscore sheets and the function and everything that you've written is going the right course. Just do one thing, write sheets equal to, just write sheets after the comma. After the comma that you've written, write sheets equal to.
After here.
No, in that syntax only where the orders is written. Yeah, outside the quotes. Yeah, sheets.
Yeah. Okay.
Write sheets equal to. No, not over here. Before orders. Before orders. Write sheets equal to, and now run it.
Amit, I think you delete the files of the systems. Then again you download the file.
No, that should not be a trouble. I mean, the file is already there. She can open it up. So,
Just a question. इसका जो default location होता है, that doesn't make a difference, right? Like it was by default downloaded in my downloads folder. So I cut it from there and pasted it in this folder. So does that make a difference? Like it's not in
No.
the default location it was saved.
no, that doesn't create a problem. I mean, that is
Okay.
doesn't create a problem over there. Let me just check it out. So maybe you can try one more function over here instead of sheets. Where is an Excel underscore sheets? Okay, you can see that Excel underscore sheets. Make it Excel underscore
Yeah.
XLS.
Okay. New.
Can you give me the controls? I'll quickly do it. And just give me a moment. Yeah, just give me this.
Sorry. What?
Can you give? I just requested the controls. Can you give me?
How do I do that?
I just raised a request for that. You might would have got a pop-up for that. Okay, just right click against my name. Yeah, right click against the name on 80. Right click on that. Not from. I just at the top you see participants 40 icon that is written at the top.
Okay.
Next to chat and all. 41 is written over there. Yeah. Now over there the second name, right? You're not getting that option.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not getting that option.
Because if I paste that request from my side. Okay, just let me share my screen. So just, in case you're getting this problem over here, just try this function. That is, just copy this up. Okay. And just make it read underscore XLS. So you can try this function. Let me know if this gives you an error. Right. So this XLS function should not create a problem. So all the others as well, if you're getting that error, you can try this function.
Amit,
Huh?
there were 11 warnings. What is this error
See,
or warning?
warnings are sometimes, there are some blank data or missing data, so that it shows the warnings for them. So warnings we generally ignore it because it doesn't impact our working anyway.
Okay.
Still getting the same error? Okay, nothing to, not a problem. What I'll do is I'll check it out, like what could be the error. They might have changed some functionalities onto this function. That could be one thing. So I'll take a look at it and we'll try to see it tomorrow, right? What could be the problem that we may have over here? Okay, so will discuss it tomorrow. Otherwise, you can still try it out if you are able to just try to change the folder path and or maybe try downloading the file again. That is something that you can all take a look at. So that should resolve the problem. Okay. So Pooja, the function that you have shared, right? So not sure if you're able to, this function that you have shared is something that will not work, right? Is it working? What you have shared? Okay, so just to give you quickly a glimpse of it, I want to see the unique categories. So what I will do is over here, I will be saying that I want to see distinct. Yeah, so please run it and just validate it once that you are also sure that you are getting the correct output. So distinct on the data that is orders, right? On that data orders, I want to see the unique categories, right? So I will give the name of my column, that is category, which starts with capital C. So I have three categories, right? Furniture, office supplies, and technology. I can quickly see that. If I want to see the sum of total sales, right, I can use the straightforward formula as well, right? If you all remember, I can say I want to see the sum of orders, dollar, sales, right? This is what I want to see. I can use this also. I can use the summarize function also. Or both will give me the same result, right? If I use this orders, I want to see the sum of sales. So output remains the same, right? Same way I can find the sum of profit also. Okay, just over here instead of sales, I will get the profit. That's it. You will be able to get that profit as well. Now, just for all of yours benefit, so that you can all practice the stuff. Okay, in the RMarticus folder, in the assignments, you will find assignment over here for the dplyr package. Okay, so here is it, right? dplyr exercises. So you have to do this exercise as a part of your homework. All of you, are you all clear? Okay, this is something that you all have to do, dplyr exercises that you can see. And apart from this, if the time will permit, I'll try to upload one more exercise today, because I'll generally get free around 8 in the evening. So if the time will permit, I will do it today, otherwise tomorrow, so that over the week you can do it. So please, all of you, without fail, please work on these. Okay. Yeah, so all of you can leave, please. I mean, I will not understand. You all would be having the other commitments. I also have to jump on to the next session. So yeah, I'm just leaving
Hello,
my coordinates over here.
hello, Amit.
Yep.
It's getting that part does not exist for me. I have downloaded that Red Excel package. I have put it in the library, but still I'm getting that Superstore that path does not exist. So what to do?
Can you share your screen, please?
Okay.
Okay, so path doesn't. So can you click? I do not see that file over here, right? The
Yes, yes. How to download that?
no file you downloaded, right? File is downloaded, correct?
Yeah, I have put that red Excel in my library.
So have you
But
downloaded?
that sample superstore I have not downloaded, I guess.
So you have to download it from that the Google Drive link.
First I have to download and then okay.
So
Then I have to switch on.
just then you
Okay.
have to put that file into a folder. Okay, you will have to keep that file into a folder and yeah, right. You know what? I will suggest. I can advise all of you is like if any one of you know, right, what we can do is over the weekdays we can plan a short 2 hours of a query session as well, so that if any one of you have any doubts during the weekdays, we can resolve that out, right? So we can also
Yes,
plan that as well. If we have a lot of doubts, so we can do that. Okay.
yes, actually, I had one doubt that while putting, like creating vector in matrix having odd values, odd vector. So how to put command for that?
So you just have to create a sequence for that. Sequence you'll have to create.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so class, so I think I'll also have to leave for the next session. So we can discuss that tomorrow, like how we can plan it. So let's talk on that tomorrow and take it ahead from there. Okay. Sure. Thank you, class. So see you all tomorrow. Please practice on the multiplier assignment.
Any recording session for the first session?
Sorry.
Is there any recording session for the first session? I missed it actually.
So recording sessions, you might would have got a link from the YouTube link for that, right? All the previous sessions that we had.
Actually, okay.
Yeah. In case you haven't got it, you can reach out to Tamini. She will help you out with that.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Amit. Amit sir?
Yeah, I just closed the session. Hello.
Hello, Amit sir.
Who is this?
Harmeet here.
Yeah,
Harmeet.
Hello, yeah, Harmeet.
Yeah, actually, no, I have a problem